How did you guys meet?
Sir,
Yeah.
how did we meet? I was already acting. No, he was already member of Cory
The
Aquino's
cabinet.
cabinet, di ba? So I would come in sometimes as acting secretary when Ruben Torres would be up. So we had met. And then when he ran, I still didn't want, I don't like the political part, the campaign, ganyan. But I knew, of course, that it was very political. Yeah, the kind of work that you do.
Uh-huh.
So, but to move into that area, no, I didn't know. It's not part of his campaign
Yeah.
team. Nothing. I was just a citizen, except that when he came on, I was the acting secretary, and by that time, it was very funny because I was one of the last one appointed.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
And already the labor unions and the employers
Yeah.
had already endorsed, and they were saying, why don't you appoint? And I remember Boy Herrera, he has passed away, Senator Herrera, had asked the president, and he told me that the president's reply was, babae siya.
Oh.
Yeah, that was really the funniest one. Let's wait, because the labor secretary was really terribly male. I mean, that was the box. And also at the time was the oil price hikes. We were having really strong rallies. Even the more moderate groups were out in the streets because of the oil price hikes. And I guess people were thinking about a man for the job, which has been always a male.
Yeah.
But I think what happened was, and that's why, how did you meet him? We didn't know each other very well. So I just
He
did
was
my job.
chief of staff. You
Yeah.
were
I was
undersecretary.
undersecretary.
No?
I'm sure, yeah, but not that, for us to think about the future, the Philippines. He wasn't kabagang in a sense. My barkada were different.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
and he
yes.
was after all with the military sector. And
You'd rather keep away from him than.
no naman. No. It's just that I was in the social cluster. So in the clustering
right,
even of
right.
cabinet,
Security siya.
security siya, ako dito. So hindi kami masyadong ano. But I guess one day he called and he says, I'm going to submit your name for confirmation.
Whoa, that was already. Yeah.
So
Okay.
I said, sure. Sure.
Yeah, but you
No.
were acting na, no? You were already.
I was already acting.
Oh.
And at that time, I felt that I had been undersecretary for some time.
Yes.
To Drilon, and no, not Drilon, but always undersecretary. So there were many programs I thought I wanted and needed support. So I said yes.
Okay.
And I think that started one of the best years of my life. And when people ask me and tell me, "Oy, kawawa ka naman, Nieves, nasa gobyerno ka," I said, "Huwag niyo ako kawaan. Ako yung maligaya." And really, I was very happy, even if it was so difficult. Terribly difficult. But when people would ask me, I said, I guess because I remember I was quite hesitant, but I decided that there were things to do in the labor sector that I could help. I had a pretty good network as well, very good relations with employers, as well as the left and right parts of the labor sector. So that was good enough.
Wait, why hesitant?
Hesitant because terribly political on field. Once you enter that level, then you really have to take on a lot more in terms of decisions. But at that time, I also made my decision that if I'm going to be there in his cabinet, then he should get the best and the best of my time, which meant asking my family, time out muna tayo, I'm gonna go 24/7, that sort of thing.
Oo.
And it was 24/7
Yep.
because he wakes up earlier than me.
Than most
The
everyone
president,
else.
yes.
Right.
And he asks whether if there's a strike, you better know what's going on before he calls you up, right?
Right,
So that means I have to be about an hour earlier, just in case the strikes are on at the ports, at Meralco, at the
Yeah.
utilities.
Yeah.
So it became, but he was such a good boss. I mean,
Even though he was a taskmaster.
ay nako, taskmaster. You know, the funniest part in that cabinet had the kultura eh.
All right.
Oo. Pahabaan kami
Now.
ng taskmastering. No one gave up. I mean, everybody was on the ball. People were working hard. People were laughing as well. His taskmastering was so welcome because he was so, gracious. He was so gentle. Even when he was angry. Yeah, he was angry. So, what can he do, right? We were all in the same fix.
What was he like being angry? I mean,
I don't know, they all laugh at me when they say, oh, nako, si Nieves, ikaw na muna, Nieves. Sabi ko, bakit? The men always were a little more hesitant. I think it's the women, Cora and I, we always laugh at him. Because we felt that when he gets angry, I think with the women in the cabinet during his first year, he was getting used to us.
oh, okay.
Meaning,
So it was a badge.
he could not get angry very badly. You know, and I remember, and I like that very much, because I've always said, I will give everything to this task, but you need to protect me.
You asked him of that?
Yeah, you protect. And that is so critical. As a matter of fact, when people ask me recently, I will not tell you who it was. He was new in the government, and he needed some advice, he said. I said, yeah. And I said, well, and he was saying that he had these young people who were so idealistic, etc. I said, your first task is you protect them so that they will do their best. And so I felt very protected in that cabinet. It was so protected that I could do something dangerous. Like,
Which was?
which was entering my labor rallies, entering the floor contemplation, explosion.
Yeah,
I mean, those are really dangerous areas. You never really knew. So I thought that was what was very clear. And it was something also I learned from him. I got a lot of lessons from him. Protecting my people so that they could also be the ones to do their best as well. I thought he did their best. One thing I also liked about him is I thought that as a general, military, he would always direct.
Was that the first impression?
Well,
He was a military man. He'd dish
I
out
always
orders.
just remember I'm a 71 first quarter storm kid, right?
All right.
So if you're military, you really got dismissed, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, fine. Okay, but ever since, I've worked with them. I mean, I've had the best friends, and my president, I said, ay nako, is he going to run my life, you know? He's going to tell me, do this, turn left, turn right. He wasn't. He wasn't at all. I mean, he was so, he was taskmastering. That was so military of him because the goal was very, very clear. But I felt that I had so much space. And he had my back.
So
And that was critical.
So the preconceived notion
Wala.
was immediately debunked.
No, none at all.
None at all.
It was not there.
Okay.
Not there at all. And he just made sure na I felt I could send him my memos when I felt I did not like what was said, I did not like a decision or something that was going on and needed his advice.
Okay. Well, tell me about that. It was a pretty collegial cabinet,
Terribly.
right?
Terribly. terribly collegial. And I guess, naku, I will not compare him to this president. It's unfair. Ano yan eh?
Don't worry, most of you have fallen into that groove.
Yeah. No. I would have minded very much. I don't think I would have worked very well with this president. The tone and the tenor
Okay.
of conversation
Okay. We're talking about
is
current. Huh?
not very empowering.
All right.
Is not very. It does not recognize your person. It dismisses it. And so I guess if you want the best out of your people, you need to recognize who they are. Plus, all this lenguaje, when they say, all his apologies saying, no, actually he's not like that, this president. It's just his way of speaking. Speaking. The language you use speaks much of your soul.
Okay.
And that to me was very, very clear. And that's why the president at that time, remember, di kami magkabagang. I mean, we weren't talking. His language was very respectful. His language, even when he was angry. That's why we always laughed at him, because I thought he was having such a difficult time trying to behave when he's angry.
All right.
Oh, and I appreciated it.
This is Ramos now. Huh?
Ramos to Oh, and I appreciated that very much. And I thought that he also went out of his way to, out of that idea na babae siya. Soon he had 3, 4, 5 people on his cabinet, women.
Yes.
And really fun. I mean, really good, very competent women. Also in the other areas. Siguro sa labor lang nahirapan siya kasi parang pang-macho siya talaga yung ganun. But after that, wala na.
Well, but then again, let me try to recall. You started out in the then ministry. It was Cablas, right?
Yeah.
Ruben Torres, Pat Santo Tomas, yourself, quite a few
Yeah.
others who went on to head
Benny Laguesma, up to Baldos.
Huh? Right.
All of those were my batch.
So you weren't exactly, with the exception of gender, you weren't exactly a newbie in the function, right?
No, but I was the
Nice.
first.
Nice.
Because Pat would follow after me. So it needed to be broken, that notion that that you had to be a man to run the labor department. And I guess also because the age also was changing, that the women were starting to also undo some of the mental models
Break through the
about
glass.
gender. Yeah.
And would you credit FBR with that?
Yeah, enjoy nga ako eh. Kasi, I will tell you a story. I don't
Go
know
ahead.
if he remembers this. But, nako, what do I remember about why it's important na you protect your people? Ano yan eh? I remember, pag babae ka, very real yan sa bureaucracy. Yeah? So, the Me Too movement, came very late. So when I was Secretary of Labor, Undersecretary at that, I noticed it. And I didn't like what I saw in the bureaucracy.
Right.
I didn't like that. So when I became Undersecretary, I asked for a committee on sexual harassment. We already had a law that was passed. So it was time to do that. And I guess as the Department of Labor, we should role model it as well. So when I became Secretary, something happened eh.
Okay.
Sexual harassment talaga.
Okay.
And tingnan mo yan Secretary na ako, hindi pa na-intimidate.
Yeah.
Ang laki ko na, hindi pa rin siya naka-intimidate.
Okay.
But my people also saw the department, and they wanted, okay, let's do the job. I mean, this is what you are standing for. Why can't you?
Right.
And I remember I was slowing it down because I just felt that, my God, now the spotlight's on me. What do I do? The victim, it was just going on, that same issue of why the women don't speak up. And so I go, oh my God, this is me.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I heard that person was going to get appointed.
Okay.
A
So
higher
not good
job.
at all.
So I remember writing him my memo.
That person.
Yeah, they like to tease me about my memos because Nieves's memos I wasn't very official in my memo. Even in the others, what I felt, very succinct, to the point, no kalokohan. So I wrote him and I said, if you promote him at this time, when this issue is going on in my department, this will break a lot of the things that we have been building.
Okay.
And I remember at the cabinet meeting, si Balong.
Okay.
So I saw him call Balong, and then they looked at me, and soon Balong was coming to me and saying, sabi ni Sir,
You knew.
he was holding my memo.
All right.
And so I went to him. He was holding the memo. He stood up. I remember Secretary Alcala presenting his program or something. Hindi naman si Secretary Alcala is such a respectable, mild-mannered
Yes,
secretary,
soft-spoken,
So,
yeah.
napakabait. So there we were standing around. And he said, "O Nieves, brabasa ko tong memo mo. What do you want to done?" He said something like, totohanan to. Oh, sir. As a matter of fact, konti pa ho. Baka meron kayong cabinet secretary, sumapak ho ng tao. Because I was holding my Pepsi bottle at the time.
This was early on?
Yeah.
Must
But I
have
was
been.
already quite established as the Secretary of
Right.
Labor.
Right.
But he had come not from government. He had come from the politicians. So, iba ang kultura niya. So, I said, hindi ho pwedeng ganyan, sir.
Okay.
So, sabi niya, okay. Yun lang sinabi niya sa akin. Okay. Umupo siya. And soon, 3 months passed, no promotion. 6 months passed, I was getting flowers from the guy. And his family came. And he apologized, and I said, it's okay. It's fine. His wife came, and things became, kung sa akin naman, it's, you apologize. Hindi ka pare sa iba, hindi naman eh. Kaya naman, she liked it, or
Yeah.
mutually, she wanted, yung mga ganong linya.
Yeah.
So I was fine. So I called up Balong, and I said, Balong, okay na sa akin.
All right.
He's done his amends publicly. I'm fine. Another 3 months, wala pa. And so I called Balong again. Balong, what happened? Kawawa rin naman. And then Balong said, Ma'am, you leave it to sir. Remember, ang code namin, officer and gentleman.
Right.
And at the time I said, my God. So when I told you about protecting, I could go and do my job. I could go alone, na babae
Yeah.
into labor meetings. Wala. They were so respectable. No? So at the time, sabi ko, okay, this I like. So kaya ko yan. Sabi nga nila, he had my back. So you could keep proceeding.
Yeah.
But it was an issue that was so terrible. Sabi ko, my God, ako pa, Secretary of Labor, sexual harassment, gender issue. Imagine, it was just coming together.
How could it all happen,
Yeah.
Confluence of
Confluence na siya.
of circumstances.
Oh.
Yeah.
And of course, my friends in government knew about it. Of course, I didn't know the name of the person because kawawa naman. His career is about to go. But usually I'd tell the story because it was a story about how, you mobilize your people, how you make them work hard, but make sure that you protect them, especially the women
You know,
or the weaker or the lower persons, di ba? So, but he was very funny because I remember in Ilocos Norte, di ba, he would bring around his cabinet. So,
yes.
mamamatay-matay ako. Sabi ko,
Out of
Diyos
town
ko,
cabinet
oo.
meetings. Yes.
Oh, as if I did not go to my mga labor and my, yung going out. But I remember he would introduce and he would say, ito na si Bobby Romulo, si Roy Navarro, ganyan. And when it came to me, si Nieves. And remember, mga veteranong nasa crowd, di ba? Mga Ilocano eh. Puro mga veterans, ganyan. Sabi niya, oh, don't worry. She's one of the boys. After that, he got a note from me. I don't like to be called one of the boys. So from then on, I wore skirts. I really wore skirts. Long skirts, ganyan. No more pantalon muna. Di ba? But one day, we had to go to Taytay. Taytay yata yung pangalan nun. The town in Palawan, yung north. And up north, yeah. Basta we had to go
Palawan?
somewhere in
Okay.
Palawan.
Okay.
And so I needed a helicopter.
All right.
And so we landed, and I was in my long skirt. Very, very prim and proper. I mean, secretary ka eh, di ba? You cannot go in these things. And we always were in the next helicopter, which was the
Yes.
UE and was open.
Yes,
So,
yes,
naku, and so we landed in, I remember, Camote Field in front of an elementary school.
Yeah.
Okay, so all the kids were there with their blah, yeah. Of course, he's there doon sa kanya. Kami naman, you hop out, di ba? Then you chase after him.
Yep.
Okay ako noon. And then, okay, let's go back. So sabi nila, okay, one of the
Balik na
boys,
naman.
I cannot be the last one, di ba? So I ran. And then, gaganyan na. And then the soldier, the military guard said, oh, come on, up! So I said, teka muna. Because it was wearing, my skirt was going up.
Billowing.
So I did not know which one to use two hands for. Yeah, to put down my skirt
Or to reach out.
or to reach out to the man to pull me in because we are ready to leave. Of course, I said, Rich, baka iwanan ako sa talbusan eh. And I said, my God, those kids just committed their first mortal sin. But it was really yung ganon. And it was really fun.
The things you did for this president.
Ay, nako. The things that you do. See, when you protect your people, you let them bloom. Yeah.
Literally, no?
Literally. It is to, let them bloom. Their skirts are going up. I really don't care. Di ba? Wala namang pangalang Nieves doon. I wonder how those kids are now. Yeah, such corruption. Anyway, no. But I'm sure the other cabinet members must have told you. I mean, papalaot ka talaga eh. And at the time, it was really meeting my labor. We were having, I remember one of the things I liked with him, bago kami working together on the labor issues. Usually ang presidente, nakakiyeme ano sila about the labor. Kasi nakakatakot talaga, kaliwa at kanan yan eh.
Yes.
So at the time, and I remember him saying, sir, so I'd brief him, and he would say, okay, siya yung nagpauso niyang mga Malacanang breakfast with labor. Regular.
FVR.
So he said, no, call them. We'll have the breakfast in Malacanang.
Right.
Sabi ko, oh my God, but they don't behave. I mean, ito yung mga ganyan ka, di ba?
Yeah.
So, kaya niya eh. So that became part of the kultura, the relasyon. Di ba? Maano siya. Tapos he would say, I remember, ganito yan, Nieves. Parang bibingka yan. Yung remember yung bibingka niya na I found very
Up and
uncomfortable. Kasi yung bibingka daw dapat sa top at sa bottom. So, he followed it. And he says, my God, this guy better be the labor secretary because iba ang pag-manage. Yeah? Kasi nga, you have the employer on one side, you have the labor. Tapos, hindi pa yan. Segmented pa yan.
Right.
Yung small entrepreneur versus the big biggies. Yeah, iba ang mga concerns niyan.
And the different colors of labor.
And the different colors
Red,
of labor.
yellow,
Hirap
green.
yan, ha? Oo, and how do you get them together?
Right.
Sabi ko nga, keep them unionized, keep them organized. Because it's very hard to talk to everybody. But if you organize them, mas madaling kausapin.
What did that speak to you of, no? Divide.
Alam mo, that was where it was so easy for me to stop thinking of him as the military guy. It was very fast.
All right.
Within a month or two, I was starting to react to him, forgetting that he was the military. He was a DND. He was a chief of staff. You know? So, yung action niya yun eh. No, bring them. I want to talk to them. We will have a discussion. Alam niyang walang agreement yun, ha? Ano lang yan? Discuss. Ano lang yan? Engage ka lang. Engage. Because the engagement itself was an end in itself.
Right.
You know, sabi ko nga, this man, okay itong mokong na to. Before I had to, my job as labor secretary was to educate your boss on labor.
Right.
Iba yan eh. Iba ang pagtingin dyan. Siya hindi. Siya nag-educate sa akin. Let's have a meeting.
A long-time hand in the labor
As if he was
organization
ang light ng kamay
was
niya.
schooled by...
Light ang kamay niya. Hindi siya mabigat. And that's why I said, my God, it's me, I saw the engagement na kailangan talaga. You cannot not. Okay? And siya. But firm siya. Pag luminya ka, tapos inano mo. Ano kami? I don't think I ever had a major issue with him.
Talaga.
Oh,
Not at all.
one time, Philippine Airlines, sinumbong ako nung kanyang friend na CEO.
This was the employees. They were having a strike.
Yeah,
right?
I remember
Yeah.
such a long thing. And then, sinumbong niya. Kasi the CBA was with me.
All right.
And sinumbong ako nung
You were
kanyang
advocating.
campaigner
Right.
na head ng PAL noon. So he sent me the memo of that guy. But the memo said, Nieves, I want your comments on this.
All right. He wasn't
And that's
one
not
to-
empty. Di ba noon, hingang ka ng comments pero hindi naman babasahin,
Right,
di ba?
right.
Siya hindi. I want your comments. You better be very fast. So, one-pager din ako doon. Ganun. And then, I knew that guy was very close to him. But I thought, ayun. Had he told me to decide in favor, I would have really just walked away. But he said comments. And this is what I'm going to do, sir. Then one time, nakakatuwa yan eh. In front of a labor rally, May 1, he goes, Nieves, why don't you run for senator? Mag-election eh. And I go, sir, you must be kidding. I have 5 cases on my lap. Philippine Airlines, PLDT, Meralco, all of them, million. Do you think they will believe us? No, we did not get money for all of those. I said, ganito na lang, sir. Aakyat ho yan sa inyo. If you let me run, they will all run to you. And you will be the bad boy.
Yeah.
Ganito na lang. Don't let me run. It's not my thing. I want to finish off all of these cases. Go. Go siya. Yun. That's why I said, I have never, okay. Ito yung putukan ng mga OFW na at that time.
All right.
Remember? At the time, our people were, sabi ko nga, ang aking analogy nun is, our people, all the fathers, when floor contemplation happened, I said, lahat ng mga ama ng bansa, umiiyak yan, galit. Sapagkat yung anak nila namatay. Okay. Lahat ng mga asawa, masama ang loob niyan. Kasi si Flor became the symbol of what we had sacrificed
They
for.
could all identify with
Identified yan. Kasi hindi pa natin na kaklaro yung mga relasyon kung bakit nangyari. Ngayon, hindi na yung mangyari. Klaro na sa atin ang storya ng OFW, klaro na rin ang storya ng ano ang role ng gobyerno, ganyan. At the time, hindi.
Yes. Yes.
Pero siya, cute nga eh. Sabi ko, my God, the elections were coming in 3 months.
95.
95.
Yeah.
Sabi niya, klarong goal niya. We have to make sure that we have the numbers in the Senate. I have some more legislation. Mga VAT, yung mga ganong legislation. Hindi yung happy, yung mahirap talagang ipapasa.
Yeah.
So, klaro sa kanya, klaro rin sa amin. So, klaro sa akin kung bakit kami. And then I said, sir, ayoko na talaga. Ang init!
Yeah.
Sabi ko, I have to send my kids to the States so that they don't get it. Kasi, ano.
Yes.
So, I remember that, and he says, don't worry, diyan ka lang. Ako ang mag-aano nito. Tapos, sinabihan niya kami ni Bobby, ako ang magsasalita. Hindi kayo. Kasi si Bobby nagkagalit na, why are they all after me?
Yeah.
Why? Yung gano'n.
Yeah.
Hindi naman, sabi ko, ay naku, sir, ako alam ko kung bakit ganyan. Diba? Sabi ko, it's going to be this way because our people are not prepared. They do not understand. As I said, it's an educating thing.
Yeah.
And at that time, I remember sa Balakang he would call. On one phone was Mahathir. On the other phone was Gochoktong. On the other phone was the Thai. You know, sabi niya, you know what is at stake? The ASEAN is at stake. Kasi si Duterte, nag-burn na siya ng Singapore flag. I remember that, nag-burn siya. Pero okay lang siya kasi mayor. Pwede yan. Huwag presidente. Ha?
Right.
Sa mayor, pwede mong i-burn yung flag. Pero meron ng pressure to let go of Singapore. So, natetense na rin yung Indonesia. What's going on? Are you going, magbabalikan ba kayo ng kandila niyan? Kasi rin, our president also had to have a face for his people.
Yeah.
At the same time, it is a face that people will not understand.
It was both a domestic and an ASEAN
it was totally
perspective to
ASEAN
it. Ano?
at the time.
Right.
So I said, my God, this guy's something else. What I'm worried about is nothing compared to what he's now doing.
Right. Right.
And it was really, I was telling Bobby, what are you angry about? We're really in a place where we don't even know where it's going to end for everybody. And I remember, alam mo na ano niya yun ha. And then one day, I remember, I really like him. He goes, Balong gives me a call. He had taken out all his ambassadors. He had to let go. And then all the way up to Bobby, his DFA. And I remember him telling me, no president should ever lose his cabinet. But of course, he's president, yeah? He tosses out his cabinet left and right. My God! But siya kanya, no president. This president should ever allow. That means protect.
Yes.
Diba? Help them go through confirmation.
Yes.
Help them with their... So, iba-iba talaga yung tenor ng pagano. And I remember he came and says, Nieves, these are the results of the survey for today. Minus 50 yata siya. Saan ka nakakita ng minus? Because of that, And we're coming into the election. I need my Senate. So I said, sir.
This was the height of the contemplation
Oh!
issue already, right?
Naalis niya si ambassador, dalawang ambassadors na nawala sa kanya na eh.
Yes.
Yung South Korean, yung Singapore.
Yes. Yes.
Tapos, meron pang inalis. So, iniisa-isa niya na baka mamaya mag-ease yung tension ng kanyang bansa.
Right.
And I could see it. And I said, Sir, sabi niya, tama ka na dyan. Ako yan. So that day, sabi niya, he called for me. And says, okay, sir. How shall we announce it?
This was about
Me
letting
now.
go.
And I was on the,
Right.
I was the last of his list.
right.
And I was saying, my God, how much I appreciate this man.
Okay.
He was concerned about how we were going to announce it.
Yes.
He was concerned, marami ka bang leave? Sabi ko, sir, buti nga ako nagli-leave, di ba? Tapos ganyan, so okay. What do you want? Ay, naku, sir, I just want to rest. I'm so tired.
Okay.
Okay. And then after that, he called, where do you want to go? What can I do?
Right.
So he But it was, I think that was where I so totally appreciated this idea of the boss is critical.
Yeah.
Your mentor must be critical
Uh-huh.
in your choice of where you work and who you work for. And so when people ask me, so Nieves, how did you last? Kasi nga,
Right.
I mean, nobody thinks about going to government, right? And I said, I had a great boss and a great team. And like Roy, actually in the cabinet, we became such great friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That I
Really?
could see.
Ano yan? Friendship talaga. And I miss Roy, even Bobby. He's not doing very well. I mean, he's a little,
Health-wise,
So
yeah.
you kind of look back. I mean, the other members up to now, we get in touch.
Yes.
We know if something's happening, what can I do to help you, ganyan. So it was, in a sense, sabi ko, siguro sa pagka-militar din niya yan. So I will go back to what I did not like, right? Because there was something now more positive. I said, this must be what they say in the military about yung mga tao mo.
Yeah.
Di ba? When they tao mo, you have to look after them.
Look after your men. Yeah.
Yep. So in a sense, it was a full circle for me. But this time, it was quite appreciated by me. Saying, that must be his military. What was military in him was what really kept him moving. And hindi naman siya maraming militar, di ba?
Yeah.
His cabinet was terribly private.
Yes.
I mean, I still remember Sonny Garcia in a cabinet meeting reading Lonergan.
What?
He's a philosopher.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He was reading. Sabi ko, hoy! Sabi ko, okay yung mamang yan. Pero hindi ko siya kuminsan maintindihan.
We're
Why are you reading that? You know?
Yeah.
So it was really quite a cabinet. Sabi
Yeah.
ko, that cabinet was so much fun. It was also because yung tenor. I mean, we were all enjoying. The president could get angry. Roy Navarro keeps saying, Nieves, yung minimum wage increase. It's the same issues like right now. So
Wait.
right now, for example, yung minimum wage na yan. I remember si Roy. Roy Navarro says, Nieves, pag inakyat ko pa yung minimum wage na yan, sabi ko, Roy, regional wage board yan. And there's a reason for that. Pero, can I just flip something to you? And this was your shot of sir. We would have discussions.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he would allow it. It's like this. Motorola of Malaysia is now picking up our creme de la creme of our skilled workers.
Right.
So pag hindi mo in-adjust yan, mawawalan tayo ng skilled workers. So we need to make decisions on the minimum wage, not only vis-a-vis living wage for households, etc., but also in terms of how do we now compete with what we have. And what we have really are people.
Right.
Skilled people.
Yeah.
So how do we do it? So talagang ibang aming mga
Perspectives,
discussions.
yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God. Our discussions were left and right, and finance would come in.
Yeah.
And it was during the time pala of President Ramos where he brought labor. The labor secretary was now part
To the
of
front,
the economic cluster.
Right. How
It was
can you
to
talk
the
about
front.
economics
Exactly.
without
But
labor?
that was happening in the other president. Sabi ko,
Didn't happen
yeah,
before.
the labor issue isn't, sure it's a social issue because you only see the minimum wage. You only see those who are without jobs. But you don't use labor as your main resource. So, klaro sa kanya yun. So, I said, and I like that very much because I needed decisions in the economic area.
Right.
Diba? Iba yung pagtingin mo sa inyong mga desisyon tungkol sa economic cluster.
Right.
Iba.
So you were both in the economic cluster
Yeah, and the social cluster.
Yeah, right.
Oo.
Right.
Gusto pa nga security eh.
To a certain
Kasi
extent,
to a
yes.
certain extent,
Correct, yes.
doon pumapasok na yung issues of the left, diba?
Correct.
Nagagamit din eh. So, it was really, and that's why I said, very collaborative yung kanyang preferred style.
But the other thing was, you were among the more outspoken
Terribly.
members of the cabinet. But from where I stood, I note what my impression was that FBR actually liked the ball bouncing back, didn't he?
He did.
Huh?
I think,
And how did he take to others who didn't know how to bounce the ball back?
but he talked to them.
Okay.
He engaged them. Si Alcala nga cute. Diba?
He's
I like
the
him. Alcala,
academic,
Secretary Alcala was.
soft-spoken.
Oh no, Emmy may be soft-spoken. But Bongkodin, but firm.
Yeah.
I think he knew. Alcala knew his stuff. I mean, each member, he knew. So me, I was only so noisy because the only way you can educate, the only way you can get that minimum wage issue discussed was you go into it. Yeah, and then get it moving. That was the only reason why I was Joe's favorite DZRH, Good Morning.
Yeah.
Was because the strikes were on. But the quieter ones, no, I don't think they felt. Because we would engage. We would have smaller group discussions. And he would call them. And so they were, as a matter of fact, Tobes, I didn't think of the cabinet as quiet and talkative. No. I felt
What was it?
everybody was pulling their weight, was really engaging.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
In a way that was their way, and they were allowed.
Because everyone knew his area of expertise,
Everyone knew the area of their area of
Yes,
expertise.
exactly.
But
Okay.
what was very nice was they were being pushed out of that area to engage the others. Kasi
Alright.
ang buhay ng labor, I won't get what I want if I don't speak to Bobby Romulo because he holds my labor attaché corps. I mean, he holds all of our OFWs. I mean, I need to work even with the OST
Right.
for my technical skills,
Oh,
diba?
techno.
So ano yan? Push yan ang push. So you're not allowed to sit on your area of expertise. Hello?
Yeah. Okay. FBR was one who would push, actually. Was the one actually, di ba? Who
Push yan.
initiated that,
Yeah.
no?
And so your expertise now, you had to read. You had to make sure you knew your data. He was very data.
Yes.
That's why I liked him.
Yeah.
Was also because I like data. I don't like anecdotes. Diba? He was very, very data. So I said, I like that. I like that very much. So yung kalkal ng kalkal, access to good data.
What were the marching orders when he eventually, Nieves, okay, it's yours.
Na,
DOLE.
I think siya, ang marching orders niya was,
Although you did say that you had quite a few, you had your own vision, having been there for a bit, and
I think he wanted the peace. Because remember, ang linya niya was his economic team. Right? What was his term for it? Ang tawag niya sa aming team?
Team Philippines?
Team Philippines, yeah. He wanted the
Philippines
economy to grow.
2000.
Oh, I love that bibingka thing. He goes, dapat, parang bibingka yan, ang ekonomiya natin. Kasi, paghahatiin natin yan, at maliit pa yan, ito na he's talking to labor and employers, ha? Pag hinati yan, maliit ang kalahati mo. Ganyan pa yan, meron pa yung maliit ang kalahati mo. Okay, he will tease them. Okay. Pero siguro kung palalakahin natin yung bibingkang yan, pag hinati natin, malaki yan ng iuwi ninyo. Alam mo, simple siya.
The bigger pie.
But that is the marching order.
Right.
Not of the Department of Labor, of the economic team.
Everyone, ano.
Oh, from the very start, you did not own your little piece of kingdom. No kingdom yan. Huh? You have to let go of your kingdom because you are part of the bibingka that needs to get bigger. And
The
you know, he
larger
kept,
whole.
alam mo, he kept on repeating that analogy. It really worked. He was also very good at his communication.
Yes.
O hindi siya very ganyan. Or else, I did not mean what I say. Then all of his mga spokesmen have to undo what he said. Yeah, siya, klaro. Klaro. Kasi ang kanyang messages, simple siya.
He liked
Pinag-isipan
acronyms,
niya.
no?
Yeah.
UST,
Ay.
Unity, Solidarity,
Oo,
Teamwork.
si caring. Oo.
And then, yeah, CSD, Caring, Sharing,
Tsaka si SW.
SW.
Complete staff work.
CSW, Complete Staff Work.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Up to now.
Yeah.
Bobby De Ocampo and I sit on the same board, Philippine Veterans Bank.
Oh, okay.
So when I get very short and I get very, hindi ginawa ang trabaho. But chair, no, CSW yan. You know, up to now, we remember, and we're pretty serious about it. You didn't do your job.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you really have to do your job. Kaya, ano yan, pag no CSW ka, tepo ka talaga. Kaya you have to make sure that one-page memo.
You're like the guy who's asked to stand in the corner. No?
Ano yan?
So overall, Team Philippines, be part of the whole. But what about some key focus areas? I do remember, of course, migrant workers was there.
Alam mo, let me just do the migrant. You know, it was really very it was with him, where for a long time the Department of Labor, for example, had always been advocacy. Now we need to get our DFA and our foreign service, our embassies, etc., to redo their priorities.
Right.
Because the world has changed. And there are now so many millions of Filipinos already. So also the way you deploy your... And I remember one of the things that I had an issue with, I mean earlier also Ruben and Drilon and everybody, was that the labor attaché didn't have a diplomatic passport. And that's difficult. Is because when the labor attaché has to go into the desert in Saudi, for example, and at that time, wala tayong mga agreements, nothing.
Right.
Hindi yan makalabas kasi he can always get caught at any time because he has no immunities.
Right.
So we kept on working at it. And I remember that because I was Undersecretary for Employment, we couldn't get it. But it was Sir. I sent him a memo. Sir. So he calls Bobby. And for the first time, today we have 50 plus attachés, we have welfare officers. During his time, we started with maybe 8 attachés. So he says, Bobby, diplomatic passport.
Right.
Oh. Then he said, you need budget niya. But yeah, sir. Because paano naman ho lalabas yung aking attaché? Hihiramin niya ho yung sa embassy. Hindi naman pahiram ng embassy. Kasi kailangan din ng iba was to pick up yung mga stranded, pick up yung mga na-hurt,
in distress.
In distress, ganyan. So he says, okay, how much do you need? So it came not from my budget. It came from his budget. So, kita niya, I mean, sa akin, klaro, I think si Sir knew what was emerging.
Noon pa lang,
Issues are
nakita na niya.
emerging.
Nakita na niya.
Yeah. And he wasn't, he likes the past. He talks about it. But I think he was so open to something that was emerging. We're not too sure. But he was going to bet on it. So sa akin yan, talagang sabi ko, okay to. And that's why I felt so bad that he had to have floor contemplation during his term.
Happened during his term.
But ang feeling ko rin, he will be faulted for it. Because what he did also was to raise the antas ng awareness ng tao tungkol sa issue yan. Diladlad na niya eh.
Right. Well, let me say, there was silver lining to it as well, wasn't it? I mean, in the wake of that sad incident,
Oh yeah.
you had the Migrant Workers Act.
Was
Diba?
passed.
Was in 96, I think.
Yeah.
No?
By Congress.
Shortly after, right.
Yeah.
You had Blas Ople and Boy Herrera in the Senate who shepherded that forward.
Suddenly, we had all the labor attaches
Right.
we wanted.
And then
The assistance to nationals became
revisions,
budget issue. I mean, was budgeted.
revisions in the mandate of OWA.
Oh,
Right.
yeah. So yung
you already mentioned
institutional
about
changes,
right.
came about.
Yeah.
But at what expense? So
Yeah.
this is where I think, Caesar at the time of the floor was managing that the anger would not destroy us. Diba? But the anger would be enough to redirect it to the Migrant Workers Act. Now, DFA, so soon my ambassadors were saying, our priority is the OFW. O ano ka?
Suddenly,
So
suddenly
So I
it's not
said,
just
I didn't anymore
yeah.
have to make ganyan-ganyan.
Right.
So ano siya? But, nga how skilled he was. He was so skilled. But I think at the time, he didn't think of himself as skilled.
He didn't.
No. I think he was... Kasi yung may mga tao na pag the way they act, diba? Kaya ko yan. Kaya ko.
Cocky.
Siya hindi.
No.
Alam mo na kinakaya niya. At saka,
But it was studied.
minamanage niya.
No?
Studied siya.
But it was studied.
Studied.
No?
And yet, hindi analysis paralysis.
Right.
Studied siya, pero lalaut siya. And that's why he had the Venetia working. He had his team in Malacanang finding out what's the temperature. I had a daily survey.
Right.
And then he was really into it. He was studied, as you said. He's not he's not gonna go in there.
No, from
Without,
the hip.
No, he's not from the hip.
No. This
Very
one was-
studied siya. But he was not paralyzed. Studied, then took the risk. He was risk-taking.
Yeah,
A lot
right.
of it.
But
Especially in my area, naku, risk-taking yan. Di mo alam kung anong, anyan. Magdadasal ka na lang.
women, PWDs, and child labor.
Yeah.
And isama ko na si Voc Ed.
Ay, at that time, technical, Voc Ed. Enjoy na enjoy ako dyan.
That was about the time that,
My time.
diba?
We passed it. We had
Right,
it passed.
right.
Gloria was
Tess.
there in the Senate, Makapagal, but it was Senator Angara. God rest his, may he
Senate
rest in
President,
peace. Yeah. Talagang sinepard yung TESDA. And soon, kakatawa yan eh. Sir, sige na, ikaw nang meron kaming Skills Olympics eh. Kayo ho mag-award. Kasi the idea was, I want you to be branded as the workers' president. And not as a labor strike, ganyan. Hindi. Ano na ho tayo ngayon? Yung ganyang gusto, that labor is an economic factor.
Right.
So, sabi niya, kumuha agad. Pupunta ako. Tapos, ang winner Sabi niya, okay talaga to, ano? Ang winner ng beauty contest, lalaki. Ang winner ng welding, babae. You know, I think at the time, he was also getting educated. Na, hoy, oh, it's happening, ganyan. So it gave him a lot of confidence. So I think it was there. He liked it.
That he was doing
That this is the way
he was
to do.
moving in the right
Economic
direction.
natin yan. Yan ang atin.
Yeah.
Oh, sa Singapore. First time we visited Singapore. My first trip with him, he went to Singapore.
90.
DFA. Di ba as president, mag-ASEAN ka?
Yes, yes,
So,
yes.
ang dami ng issues about the burning of the back of the OFW.
Yes, yes.
Problem ko yan sa Singapore. So, DFA did not want to put my issue on agenda kasi daw nakakahiya. I'm sorry. Sabi ko, it is the agenda now.
Right.
So, ito naman, para kaming dalawang bata. Running to the tatay, Sir! Can you imagine Bobby and me? Sabi ni Sir, no, put it on agenda. See?
Yeah.
My confidence in him kept growing. Every decision, putya, galing niya pa. Kasi risk yun. Pero studied din. Hindi yan ano.
Right.
So, eto na. Di ba, after the VC, you will have the first meeting, di ba?
Yes, yes.
Siya, tapos kabinete niya.
And then
Siya,
counterpart,
kabinete
yeah.
niya. Pero yung kabineting i-choose mo, yun ang issues mo sa agenda.
Right.
So, even at the time when we flew to Singapore, hindi ko alam kung i-agenda ako. Pero siguro naman kasi sinama niya ako. Pero hindi ka sure. Baka naman sinama niya ako dahil mag-hello siya sa mga
FILCOM.
tao.
FILCOM.
Oo. O, di nung sitting, kaya ang best friend ko si protocol officer, si Ambassador
Painor.
Painor. Sabi niya, balik ka dito. Kasi piraming question mark si labor.
Right. Right.
So I was there. And the president said, and of course our Secretary of Labor is here,
Yeah. Yeah.
and asked me to speak about the issue. But the funniest part was, di ba, militar siya. Sabi niya, okay, at this time, the hotel cars will be here, and we have to be at the palace at this time. Ka-arrive lang namin. Everybody went up to their rooms. I had to go up to my room to bring out my gown, to bring out the non, and then going out the door, my bra strap was showing, so somebody from the embassy said, Mama, ipipin natin yung bra strap mo. When I got to the lobby, they were all gone. And then, we followed. Buti na lang. Nag-shake hands na. Oh, I was there. By that time, they reached the end of the line. I was there, sir. Hoy, tumingin siya.
You made it.
Afterwards, I said, sir, next time ha, iba ang time schedule. Pag ako, dapat yan, pag babae, hindi lang naman ho, barong kami. Kayo ho, barong lang. Nyo eh. Kami ho, you expect us to dress up. Para naman di kayo mapahiya. You give us another 10 minutes.
Okay.
So that became, sabi ko, Painor, come here. Bigyan nyo kami ng palaot ha, kasi ang pagbabae, mahirap. And I'm not finicky about dressing.
Right.
I'm one of the fastest. But even I can't follow. And that was really, to me, as being with Toby, to me, that was so considerate of him.
Yeah, he did,
Gender issue yan.
Right.
Gender issue yan. You have to make room for the woman, especially in companies. Diba? Now you have what? Breastfeeding centers. Noon,
Mother's daycare.
the woman, additional cost yan.
Yeah.
That's why you did that. So even in the small, kita mo yung kanyang, very consistent yung kanyang, very considerate. Ako, will protect you. Just give me 10 minutes so I can dress up. I will do the best I can. The other one was Saudi Arabia. Sama kanya. Sabi ko, sir naman, I meet the labor minister anyway in Geneva. Nakasuit pa yan, di yan nag-ano.
Right.
Sabi yan, no? The item on the agenda is OFW. Hindi ako naman. Yes. Tapos, eto na, pagbaba namin. Of course, the man, and me, kasi we were going to go somewhere na naman.
Right.
So, I always have a roller.
Right.
Yung mga men, barong Tagalog lang kanilang ilalagay. Ako, meron ng sapatos, you cannot... So, there we were coming down the plane. Me with a trolley bag. Sabi ko, para naman kaming para baka makakalain, trolley bag dito ng aking mga lalaki. Ako yung taga-ganyan, yaya nila. Anyway, alam mo, that night was supposed to have been the state dinner, then the meeting.
Right.
Ng cabinet, di ba?
Ministerials.
Ano yan, protocol na yan.
Yeah.
So, dapat yan, mag-aano kayo after the state dinner. May problema sila. And the protocol officer kept coming to me in my room. What time do we join? Ma'am, hindi pa sure. You know what's the problem? Kasi sa Saudi.
They don't meet with women.
No. And the state dinner is, the women stay in one
On
room,
one side.
the men
Right.
stay in one room.
Right.
Sabi ko, kaya gagawin ni sir nito? Di ba? Another one of my defining moments na naman. Sige nga, sir. Sige nga.
Let's see you do.
Let's see you do this.
Okay.
Tapos, alam mo ginawa niya? Akala ko go to sleep na ako eh. Kasi even Mrs. Ramos was not, So, knock, knock, knock. Be prepared, 10 o'clock. You cannot attend the state dinner because the women is not being hosted. So, that settled the man. Pero hindi naman pwede kasi labor secretary niya babae. So, at 10 or 11, basta after the state dinner, I was picked up.
For the ministerials.
Ano niyan, ha?
Yeah, you were. Yeah.
For the ministerials, except I went through the back door. They went through the lobby.
All right.
And then I was brought to the room where the meeting would be. There were no tables. It was really nice. There were no tables. Okay? And so after the dinner, they all went to the room where I was in.
Wow.
And si sir, his eyes were twinkling kasi he knew how much I did not like the idea of having to wait. And can you imagine, in my country, you cannot do that to me. Yung ganyan.
Yes.
And so he was, then he introduced. And the labor minister was also laughing because in Geneva, we are equals, right?
Yes.
So there I was, nakaganyan. And sir asked me to speak up. Ganyan. Sa akin, sabi ko, my God. It's not like Scarborough Shoal in China. He was going to give way on the state dinner. But in the official, the decision was.
Di ba?
And the joke after that, sabi niya, si Nieves, sa harem yan pumasok eh. Yung harem room. Ako, sir, na ano ka, kasi napaka-genderless ko nga doon eh. Naka-black ang ganyan. Nothing, you cannot see anything. But to me, that was again defining. Even his own beliefs about things.
Yes.
So I said, God, okay itong mamang to. Kasi kung ako, ibibigay ko na yung aking labor secretary. Yung DFA ko na lang. Lalaki naman yung aking foreign affairs eh.
Right.
Diba?
Or make do with what you have. But in his case,
No.
he insisted.
No.
Right?
So I said, okay itong mamang to. And he's got his things right. Klaro sa kanya eh.
Yeah. Good.
No, yung mga Kuwait. Don't remember, nagkagulo dito sa Kuwait?
Yes,
The
yes.
former secretaries who are advising Bello call me up. Nieves, anong ginawa niya nun? Sabi ko, ganito. Sumulat si Sir sa Emir.
Yeah.
Nieves, go to Kuwait. We will arrange for you to bring this letter to the Emir.
Yeah. And handle. Yeah. Personal.
So yung sinasabi nilang nagpa-uwi, that's not new. At the time, the response was, we will send everybody home, we will pay for it, we're gonna make sure. Ano yan? Sabi ko, alam nyo, huwag niyong pahiya. Kasi, those guys have to know that they have to do it. Kung ipapahiya mo yan, hindi gagawin niya. At manggagalit pa yan. Sure enough, the parliament,
happened.
it wasn't the labor minister, it was the parliamentary guy who hit at us. Persona non grata nga ambassador.
Right. Right.
So I said, pwede ba? Because there are lessons learned na eh. Huwag nyo nang anuhin.
Yeah.
Don't think you can do it again. I mean, these are really, it works. Relationships work.
Right. Right.
So and from that time on.
And no hard lines, ano?
No,
hardliners.
because sabi ko, these guys have face. Oh,
Right.
the other time, South Korea announced that they are now going to open a quota,
Yeah. Yeah.
system for skilled workers.
Yes,
So I said, I like that skilled worker. I don't like unskilled. In Saudi Arabia, they get only $250, ganyan.
Correct.
Yung skilled, pataas yan. Ito na yung i-redirect natin yung ating migration flow.
Right.
The sir understood it. Sulat na naman yan. Sulat siya. Remember, South Korea is PEFTOC.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my God, the doors open. We were the number 1 quota holder.
Yeah. There was a preference for...
Pagbukas,
Right.
number 1. I mean, di ba, yung bang pinag-iisipan yan eh. So up to now, you ask, you use his name, you drop his name.
We're still reaping the benefits from
We
that.
are,
Yeah.
we are.
Sure.
So, sa akin, alam mo, yan, that's the other thing that was very good. Was that he knew how to build his relationships.
And nurture them.
And nurture them. And use them for country.
I'll go to the domestic, I'll go to the domestic front. The FDR banded himself as the country's number 1 salesman, and
Yeah.
to a large extent, maybe covering him during my life as a journalist, I remember at least 1 or 2 days at least every week where we had to go to some inaugural of a factory, a light industrial park, an eco zone, and and that was all really bringing in the jobs, So while we were on one hand working at getting better jobs, reorienting the migration patterns of our labor force. But we were also actually providing an option for them not to leave home.
Yeah.
No?
Alam mo, at that time, nagsishift na yung global division of labor.
Right.
So, it became a push to go out not because we're poor, but many of our people, especially the young ones, wanted to see the world.
Right.
Okay? It was also a pull. Pull, meaning the countries were beckoning.
Yeah.
It was a push because you needed another job. So that's why nga he went to my first National Skills Olympics. Why? Because he was already selling. He was selling that our workers were really going to be the resource. And so, if you'll notice here, dito yun na ngayon ang pesa, kay Lilia de Lima rin eh.
Right.
Di ba?
Right.
He made Lilia, Director General.
Oh, PENSA, yes.
Yes. And sabi nga ni Lilia sa akin, ano yung kwento niya? Akala niya, Secretary of Tourism ang i-offer sa kanya. Kasi nga, women, di ba?
Yeah.
And yet, in-offer sa kanya yung PESA. Why? Because it had to be built up. Because that was going to be our brand. Ang pasok ng investments. I'm told recently that the foreign investments have slowed down.
Yeah.
Okay? And also because they didn't see the signals. And they're not too comfortable about the signals they're looking
Where
at.
it is now. Yes.
Where it is. All right, but at that time, it was very definite. One-stop shop.
Right.
I mean, ano yan, This was a president allowing his people to create. So So there was Lilia Hispeza. Alam lang namin what his goal was. But getting there was we were left to create.
Yeah. Yeah. Innovate.
Innovate. Ano talaga? Yun. And now, yung sa TESDA, that was really a lot of help from him because yun ang aming ibibuild. You cannot have jobs.
Skilled, ano, no?
Skilled. Kasi yun lang ang pwedeng bayaran.
Yes. Yes.
Hindi ka pwedeng informal pirme.
Services are fine if they are in the high end, no?
Yeah.
But if they are domestic, there's a cap on that, no?
Ano siya? On the wage issue, he was very even ang kanyang hawak on the issue.
Let the wage boards decide.
Not the wage boards. Kasi paano naman tubi?
Specific to...
But the others played, remember? Mitra.
Yeah.
Played with it. Diba? So, na-burn.
To a certain extent, that's also the reason why, well, meeting with the leaders of key stakeholder groups and then opening up both for overseas workers and then helping out create the new jobs here, no? Our labor industrial relations at that time were pretty good, right?
We started with during Cory when suddenly we were liberated. Of course, all of the got liberated as well after the dictatorship. We were going 500 strikes a year. You cannot imagine. During my time, it went down to 200 a year. By the time we will finish in 3 more years, that would go down to about 100. Ano yan? It became... Tsaka nagbigay siya. Si Presidente, even ang kanyang hawak. That's why he needed to get everybody in front of him. He needed to focus everyone and make them believe, and had them believe in him. Na the bibingka has to get bigger before we cut it up. Yun lang ang sinabi niya.
You have to, the pie has got to be bigger.
Yeah. Let me tell you this. This president talks about corruption. But there is corruption.
Yeah.
For all the things he's talking about.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Even in the department. Si Presidente did not talk about corruption. Just said he didn't want it. Then all of his cabinet had to toe the line. Then he had to go down.
Yeah.
And because it was that way, people toed the line. There were 1 or 2 parts of the department hindi ko makontrol, but he helped me control it with appointments.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Klaro siya. So I said, my God. Iba ang kultura talaga. And that's really very sad. Kasi my issues about corruption is no one wants to be corrupted. Our own people in the bureaucracy are very proud of who they are. And that's why I mind it very much when you are corrupting. Is because parang yung pinagtatapak-tapakan mo.
Okay.
Yung aspirations ng mga taos below.
Yeah.
And that is why it was very clear to me. Alam mo, there were people who approached him, the president,
All right.
on PAL, on really big ticket items.
Well, there were
He
quite a few,
never-
actually. No?
But he never asked me. Never. Not even to be nice.
What was it like? I mean, he said,
I really like-
just do your job.
Do your job!
Kung anong kailangan gawin,
Oo,
di ba?
tapos pag hindi mo kaya, mag-memo ka sa akin.
Yeah.
Oo, kaya pag hindi ko na kaya si De Venecia.
On the political side.
Yeah, so I told Sir, I understand what you're doing. It's because Si Speaker naman, talagang yan ang kanyang buhay. Dapat gumawa siyang ganyan. Pero hindi ho naman pwede yan sa executive branch. Kasi kayo rin, sa inyo tatakbo yan, then napakasama ng issue. So, I also like the idea na parang anak ka eh. Yung bang pwede akong magsumbong sa kanya. So, one day, they asked me to have lunch in Speaker De Venecia's house. So
Okay.
I said, okay, baka mamaya we will discuss or he will mediate. Kasi may mga minimum wage, maraming issues ng labor.
Right, right.
When I got into, buti na lang late ako. Kasi I was walking in, I said, what are they doing? There were 2 other members of cabinet, and they were doing this way. And I go, oh my God. I went back to my car and said, go. And then I made sumbong.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sir, talagang gusto mong gawin yan? Gawin mo akong member of the party. Hindi naman yating yan Kasi sabi ko, kung may member of a party ho ako. Yung bang ang ko was, you need me as the honest broker with labor and employer. Init ng issue.
Yeah.
Buti pa si Roy Navarro, trade and industry, klaro yan. Doon siya. Ito, dito, malasado tong.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I said, wag na ho. Sabi niya, oo naman, wag na.
Claro. So
Claro.
win.
Hindi naman. It's not a win in the sense. I could see where Speaker De Venecia was coming from.
Yeah.
He was trying to consolidate.
Yes.
And I told them naman, okay naman eh. Isusuporta ko sa inyo. Yung mga congressmen nyo, sige, kausapin ko. Yung gano'n, hindi naman ako yung... I will help. Pero, kung to become a member of the party, sabi ko, you'll clip me.
And that would, to your sense, that would subsume your role to
Oh, then I cannot help
the
you.
party. Yeah.
And then I cannot be your... I cannot stop the issues going to you.
All right.
So Labor right now will talk to me. They will
Keep
not
it-
accuse you.
Okay. Keep it apolitical.
Oh, tsaka they will get angry with me.
Oh, it's already, well, labor is already political as it is. It's politically charged already as it is, no?
So ano naman? But that's why I laugh at si Speaker De Venecia as well. Kasi I could see. I go, sir, ayoko no.
Okay. Sige. Heading towards the latter part of your tour of duty.
Explore contemplation.
Uh,
But I want to tell you this. I'm sorry.
okay, go ahead.
There is a case in the Harvard Case Bank
Okay.
that says President Fidel V. Ramos and the floor contemplation crisis. He is in the case bank. He's being used. That case, and it's now interviews. It's all from public documents, so we cannot stop them, right? They had written it out to be used in a course. The course that they asked me to sit at the back, and then to see how the professor was going to use it. And in terms of social policy yata yun eh.
KSG?
Media. KSG. So
Kennedy?
sabi ko nga, hay nako, sinong presidente ng Pilipinas nasa case bank
May case na.
ng Harvard?
Right. Oh, maybe in the law books. Later on. That was a bitter moment. Yes. That
No.
time. That
Everybody, okay, my friends would say, kawawa ka naman niya, but I was so, imagine after all that hard work. And I said, and I think this is where the president was as well, was, the way I looked at it, it was part of a nation.
Okay. Of a larger.
It was
Of a
part
whole.
of us developing.
Okay.
And therefore, I was so happy to be part of it. Yeah. That's why when I said, the way I would frame it was, at that point, our nation was angry. At that point, our nation wanted some relief.
Yeah, but he had to let go of
But that's the nice part
Sec
about
Romulo.
it, Toby,
You-
but that was the best part of it. Was because why? Siya na nag-ano eh. Nagtimon na siya eh.
Okay.
Na this is a moment in our nation.
Buck stops here.
The buck stops with me.
I made a...
Everybody behave.
Yeah.
Sa akin, sabi ko nga,
Yeah.
my God, not bitter.
Okay.
It's just that we strolled in
Yeah.
at a time when it could have been worse if it weren't us. O ano?
That's a
O
very,
ano?
that's a very positive outlook.
Yeah.
But-
That's why when
So-
people talk to me about floor contemplation, I said,
Yeah.
ano ka eh?
Okay. Pero
You
birth
were
pains
part
siya,
of
no?
it. Birth pains,
birth pains.
because migration was in,
Yeah.
it was
no?
crashing in already, we were trying to be ASEAN,
Right.
and the OFW issue was coming in. It is not an issue that people want to talk about, but we put it. Oh, ano,
But eventually...
in the ASEAN labor ministers, for a long time, ayaw nilang ilagay. Eh, di ba ASEAN, ano to, consensus?
Yes.
Oh, just for us na mag-propose ng social protection of migrant workers. Social protection pa, hindi man lang yung bad issues of human rights, ganyan. Ayaw ng Singapore.
Right.
Kaya yung punta niya, first trip niya, kaya ayaw ng DFA ilagay sa agenda. Kasi sa ASEAN, ayaw nilang ipalagay. Oh, my sir, I'm sorry. Ilagay.
Yeah.
But we will handle it well. It was handled well.
That was the first ba? 93.
Basta
when
within 3 months of his coming in. Hindi ba
Oh.
nag-ASEAN tour yan?
yeah.
And Singapore was the first country.
Right.
Kaya maano yung Singapore na yun. Sabi ko, ang tapang naman ng mamang to. Di ba? Ang tapang niya. Ayaw na Singapore nga ilagay sa ASEAN agenda. Oh, inilagay niya.
He insisted on it. Yeah.
The other one that he enjoyed, which the DFA cleared with me, was, alam mo, trust me, si Presidente will love his meeting with the community.
Always, ano?
But that was the first one.
Oh, okay.
Tsaka ayaw nila kasi takot sila na baka mamaya magtapo ng kamati. Hindi nila. Eh, may naman ako'y labor. Sabi ko, trust me. Kaya ko yan. And so ano, alam mo, first meeting niya. Miski si Sir medyo ganyan. Kaya risk taker din yan. Kasi nakakaya sa Straits Times, President Philippines, booed by his Filipino. Sabi ko, alam nyo, ang Pilipino abroad, ano yan, mangiyak-iyak yan. Kakanta lang yan ng bayang magiliw, tepok na yan. Malambot na yan. And so all of the rancor, if ever, ano yan? Ano niya, mabait siyang mamang yan. Ang taong Pilipino, mabait. Sure enough. Pagpasok ni Sir, the warmth.
Yeah.
So this was his country. Sabi ko, ay nako, I'm sorry. After this, Bobby Romulo, you cannot get what you want anymore. I will get what I want. Because na-feel niya. Actually, behind my, at the back of my head, Sir just has to feel this. What it means. Oh, isang bayang magiliw lang siya.
And that was it.
From then on, it was it was a relationship that we had with the OFWs. Kaya lahat na. Italy, mga ganon.
Yes. All over.
Filipino community.
Right.
Filipino community.
And it became a must, ano? It became...
Kung hindi siya i-forgive na.
Yeah.
Hindi na siya i-forgive.
But also, I guess it was on the practical side, he was a plurality vote, ano? So he had to...
Yes. Naku, Toby, that was so
bring
nice.
together. No?
Can I share something?
Go
with
ahead.
you? You remember, I like data.
All right.
So I knew the data from COMELEC.
Okay.
This is a plurality president. He doesn't have nothing like what Duterte has now. Can you imagine if he had what Duterte had? God, ang bilis niyan. So I understood what I had to do. It wasn't PR. Tsaka hindi siya PR. Did you notice? It was establishing that relationship. So with labor, he didn't ask labor to be popular. He was going to engage labor.
Engage and
Engage ka lang ng engage. And that's it. Circles. That's why yung Philippine community, sabi ko nga, dapat matapang kayo. You should trust our Filipinos and the president. So plural siya kasi doon sa Filipino community may mga ano pa yan eh. May mga
naysayers.
Tsaka factions.
And right.
Political din yan eh.
Correct.
Unang bayang magiliw, tiklop lahat. Sabi ko, addition na tayo ha. Add lang tayo ng add. At saka he likes traveling, di ba?
Right.
Pirmi yan dapat may Filipino community. Kasi yung Filipino co-worker na yan, 6 ang nasa pamilya niyan sa back home. Ano ibig sabihin niyan?
Right.
Yung kanyang engagement dyan is building his domestic base as well.
Reverberates at home.
They must trust him. Kaya, talagang okay itong bibingka analogy. Palakihin.
Yeah.
Yung kanyang political support din, palakihin.
That's where what you said earlier, the engagement itself is
the end in
is
itself.
an end by it.
Because he is political. Di ba?
Yeah.
He is political. I think that was what I liked about him. I didn't like political. So ako, klaro. Siya, klaro rin siya. Because he needs it.
But political without being...
No, political in the sense of being
without
with
trumpeting
the
it,
people.
no? Without, no?
Yeah?
Right.
Police. Engage. Connect. But me, I will choose who I want to engage, Toby. I mean, that was something I also wanted naman. Yeah, because like Speaker De Venecia has to be connected to everybody. Me, I can always say I don't like. So that is where. Medyo ano pa rin ako doon. Ano to? I didn't want to cross that line.
Okay. Tell me about... You also became chairperson of the ILO governing body.
Of course.
I
had a good president.
Career. Right.
I'm sorry.
He supported you. Well,
yeah.
Tell me about. You have to.
I love that guy.
You have to run for it.
He understood.
Okay.
Remember, I cannot tell, but you cannot cut this. You cut this out, huh?
Go ahead.
This present president says too much traveling. Di ba? Actually, ayaw lang niya, kaya too much traveling ginagamit nila eh. But he set such a tone. Sabi ko, yung labor secretary has to travel. Kasi, nagtitimon tayo niyan. Because at that time, we wanted to be the ASEAN minister's labor. I mean, we wanted to influence.
Right.
Ako, klaron dyan. So sabi ko, sir, sign naman siya ng sign. Then, they said, can the Philippine minister be the governing body chair? I knew he would say yes.
Okay.
Ganun kami ka-intimate na. Alam ko na kung anong type niya. Because at the time, remember, he kept saying, Philippine team.
Yeah.
So here now is branding. Hindi lang kami sa economic. Pati sa social sector of this world.
Right.
We are about, kaya human rights issues were never part of our issue. No. Not at all. So at that time, he says, okay. And he funded it. And he made sure the Department of Foreign Affairs. What was cute was this. I had to go to Africa. Matapang nga tao, di ba? I mean, I've been to Mindanao. What's Africa? So, nakakatakot ka to. Kasi nawawala yung aeroplano, doesn't come on time, you're alone, you have to go out at 2 o'clock in the morning to go to the airport, yung ganung ano. He asked Secretary Segis. He was undersecretary at that time.
Rafael Segis, DFA.
To accompany me.
Oh.
Sabi ko nga, for all my things about men and women are equal, I also like this idea That my president, yeah, has an officer and gentleman culture issue. So
Okay.
he makes sure
That you're okay.
I'm okay.
That you're-
I was gonna travel.
you're looked
It was
after.
clear to me that it was also costly if I have somebody with me. But I needed to call on the countries who were voting in the governing body.
Right. Right.
Alam mo, suddenly I was with Segis. Sabi ko, hindi naman ako ang distressed OFW. Oh. Sabi niya, hindi na, sige na. At ikaw ay ano,
No, but that was a major block, di ba?
it was.
Middle East and Africa block, right?
Yes.
Right. Right.
So, kailangan din natin with relations.
And then you
yung
had to-
mga ano.
You actually bagged it, ano?
No!
Middle East,
Yeah. They were the ones
Africa,
pushing.
and then Asia.
And then America voted for Chile.
Right. Well, it's in the same
Yeah. So,
hemisphere. So.
but, si Sir, sabi ko, Sir, pero sa kanya, alam na alam ko yung kanyang ano, yung oo si Sir dito. So, yun. The other thing also about him as president was he was very clear. He didn't keep everybody guessing. This is what I want. Team Philippines.
Transparent.
Oo, tsaka re-repeat niya. I-repeat niya ng i-repeat. Pag dense ka, pag hindi mo nakuha kung saan ka tutungo. So, klarong-klaro sa kanya yun. Kaya, madali.
Everybody.
I made decisions because I knew I was comfortable that this was something
Kung
that
saan
he would
nakaangkla,
want.
no?
Kaangkla. When I think about it, was there ever anything that we disagreed on? Marami naman. Except it was all a matter of timing. Timingan yan. Si Sir nga alam sa timing.
And I guess it was also the collegial
Terribly.
atmosphere that he cultivated,
Ay, ang
wasn't it?
lakas.
Huh?
Malakas. Yung collegial, ano? That's why when Floor came, his cabinet did not break apart. That's a break apart thing, ah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We could have turned on each other.
Correct.
Ah, wala yan. It's also because we trusted him. So I don't know if this present president will have that same. It's really very sad because I really thought, di ba, kasi when he was campaigning, this president,
The
si Sir was
crest
so
of-
much part
yeah.
of it.
And the crest of populism, that eroded. But anyway.
Siguro, sabi ko nga, one of the things I was thinking of, why was he so good at this? It was because he was not the popular one. He didn't have the popularity.
Right.
And there was hunger to be accepted. And it was multi-stakeholder ang kanyang ang people niya.
Yeah.
Di ba ang galing?
Yeah. The base,
Talagang, whoa!
When did you leave the cabinet? 95
Cabinet
or 96?
1995.
95.
Then he said, okay.
But you were still
Yeah.
Governing
Parang, yeah. Yung, ano to siya? And I was still, presidential advisor.
Yeah,
on
right.
Yan yung mga racket ng advisor up to now. Presidential advisor on international labor affairs.
Right.
Kasi yung agreements, the
Yes.
governing body,
Yes, yes.
I mean, we were not going to allow it to fall. Yan din ang kanya. Ano siya talaga? Kita niya.
kailangan steady pa rin,
Oh, steady siya.
And you-
Steady eating.
And you carried the influence of the government behind you
Oh, yeah.
when you presented yourself. Regardless of
course.
whether you were
Because at the
secretary,
time,
but
there was a brand.
right.
That brand, remember, we were going off to Europe all the time. So even the Europeans, actually the Europeans were much more open to us. The Americans were because it was a rights issue.
Yes.
They felt that the Philippines was a little too open. And India, yun ang magka-partner tayo, was a little too open to this notion that we can discuss these rights. So, medyo sila.
When did you eventually, cut the ties
With Sir?
with the
Never.
FVR? No, I mean with the with the cabinet. With the cabinet.
With the Cabinet 95.
95. No, but you were
But
still
Friends.
TA
Yeah.
Up to
And
another
up to
year?
his,
up to end of term.
Yeah, end of term.
Ah, okay. Okay.
And then, this is so cute. When Estrada came on,
All right.
okay, he sent one of his, sino yung in-check? Kitchen cabinet niya, Di Chavez. Sends him.
Atong
No, Di Chavez. Remember Di Chavez?
Chabit.
Di Chavez.
Ah,
Yung
the Chavez.
in-check,
Oh, okay.
yung
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he says, sabi ni Sir, ano daw ang gusto mo?
Wow.
Wow! So I said, huh? And then he said, which was so weird, he said, kasi naman daw, hindi mo kasalanan ng floor contemplation.
Yeah.
So I said, I appreciated that. Of course, he sent me to PNP. And Lucia Tan gives him a call and says, what's your connection to the, sinong connection mo kay Presidente? Bakit ka binigay?
At the PNB board, ano?
Yeah,
Ah,
kasi he was now going to acquire it,
Yes,
remember?
yes, yes.
So I said, ay nako, Mr. Tan. Anyway, but this is really that floor thing hounds me like anything. So, but it's yung when you ask, is it bitter? No, not at all.
Yeah,
But I'm glad I was there
yeah, yeah. Or part of it, no? Na
because it's a
it
difficult
became,
one.
yeah.
He could have mishandled it.
And as you said, it could have been worse.
Could have been worse. We could have broken up the ASEAN
Right.
like anything because
Right.
he was going to pander
Right.
to an anger
Yes.
that was not yet clear about why it was angry. So, inano niya yan. Kakatakot ng... Ganda nga ano, no? I should write about that.
Yeah, we should. Life after the cabinet.
There is life after the cabinet. I'm sorry. Yes.
Where did you go after? I mean, what did you do after?
I thought
you're
about
teaching now,
a lot.
di ba? Okay,
Yeah, there were boards. I was
Okay.
invited to Africa. Ganyan. Marami yan. Ano. And then, I was invited by the Makati Business Club and all of that. And then AIM. And of all the schools, because I wanted a sanctuary, I felt that the days in government and in the cabinet where you were really shooting from the hip. Oh, and not enough. It's like Sir.
Yeah,
That's why
yeah.
he likes to write his books now. It's
Yeah,
because
yeah.
pag nandun ka, wala kang, you better just pray that you're gonna be up to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So after that, I felt I wanted to slow down to write, to think about what really happened, and then to use it also in terms of moving on, right?
Yeah.
So I said, UP, no. Ateneo, no. I didn't want to join the private sector because I said, So I said AIM, because that time AIM really had Asian links, which was also my network. So that helped.
Tama.
We both helped each other.
Yeah.
And now I sit on boards, including banks, independent director, which
Nice.
mahirap yan.
Yeah.
And then,
may fiduciary responsibilities.
Exactly. That's really masakit.
Yeah.
But I felt it was the Veterans Bank, so there was a purpose to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, ever since, it has always been, sabi ko nga, life after cabinet, you have more time. I kept my friendships as well, including with labor. And so one of the labor leaders about 5 years ago in Cebu, he's retired, says, you know, ma, ay NIEVES. He was in the TUCP. Galit na galit kami sa'yo. Sabi niya, kasi yung first department order, in a sense, relaxing contractualization, allowing for the PESA yun
Yeah.
was signed by me.
Oh, okay.
And then he said, but now we understand. Because I kept telling them, alam nyo, at that time, nakita na na a lot of the companies of Europe and America are going to be sending out their manufacturing, their assembly lines to Asia.
Yeah.
But they will not want the permanency But they will be permanent. The Japanese are terribly permanent. Okay. But they will want to have the agility.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the thing. We want jobs. I
There you
needed to
go.
relax. And in a sense, we had the jobs. The BPOs are not permanent. The BPOs are really contractual, but they've been around for so many years. Nakakatakot lang ngayon kasi volatile.
Yes. Yes.
But that was one of the things, that my labor, sabi niya, pero mahal ka namin. I mean, I guess you just had to be honest. And deliver the bad news as well as the good news. But that one was, ang feeling ko during the time of Sir, that moment, was really, parang in defining moments ka kasi wala pang sagot at wala pang history.
Right.
Ang migration, ang PEZA, and contractualization,
Yes,
mga
yes.
new arrangements, lahat siya.
Yeah. Yeah.
Di ba?
Yes.
So,
yes.
it was really quite, that's why sa akin, to be bitter, no? No. You were part,
Yeah.
had become part of a,
Larger movement. No?
that you were part of shepherding it.
Yes.
We could have burned the Singaporean flag. Buti lang mayor pa siya nun.
But those people who spoke to you, they look at it 20 years hindsight. No?
Yeah.
But you, FVR, the president, was looking at it with a different lens, looking forward. Kudos.
Why not?
Yeah,
Diba?
diba?
Ang ano ko doon was, siya, educating siya. Kaya when you say studied siya, ini-study niya. Pero studied rin yung kanyang pag-communicate. Shepherd siya. Shepherding siya.
Hanggang ngayon ba, ganun pa rin? I suppose you've been meeting with him ever so often. May mga interactions.
Oo, nakakatuwa yun eh.
Aha.
Ano to? We went to a wake. Sabi niya sa akin, Liga Nieves, tiga. Then he took my hand. And then he put it here. Sabi ko, Sir, bakit? Sige ka. Sabi ko, maano kang sexual harassment. Tapos sabi niya, yung pacemaker ko, i-feel mo. Sir, meron ako yung pacemaker. Oo, ayan. He was so proud of it. Sabi ko,
Okay.
buti pa kayo. Kakit nga.
Yeah.
Then he said hello to my husband. Alam mo, can I share this with him?
Go ahead,
I was so young. I think it was only Shell who was younger than me at that cabinet.
Chill.
And so,
Habito.
habito. So one time, June Painor sa state dinner. Sabi ni Sir, dalhin mo ang asawa mo. Kasi baka mamaya, nasa CV mo lang.
Na may asawa ka.
Na may asawa ka. Kasi they believe me. Tapos, eto na.
Kailangan may patunay.
Sabi ko, Sir. So, nung next state dinner, they were preparing. That's why si June Painor, I remember him. He goes, di ba? Toby Nebrida. Ganyan. Then you have to go and make ganon. Then it was my turn and my husband's. First time. Alam mo, he forgot my name. Forgot my name.
June Painor.
And then what I did was, kasi, gusto nyo, ayan, ganyan. Tapos, CONFESOR, I said. Sabi niya, tawa siya ng tawa. Sir, si Radko. Oh. After that, din siya nag-appear. Kasi yung asawa ko noon was one of two spouses. The other one was tourism. Si...
Gabor.
No.
Narslim.
No. Narslim.
Narslim.
Di ba? German yung kanyang... No.
Yes.
So, dalawa lang sila. Sabi niya, anong
Cabinet
gagawin
spouses.
ko? Ang barkada niya, yung PSG ni Sir. Tapos, state dinner, sabi niya, anong gagawin ko dyan? Ang dami kong gagawin sa opisina. You are so So, after that, sabi ko, June ha, tapos na ako, ayaw na niya.
Okay.
Tapos to. But very yan. Then, nung nag-wake kami, nung wake na yon, nakita niya si Rad. Sabi niya, come here. Sabi niya, do you know? And then he remembered it. Do you know that I had to tell Nieves to bring her husband? Sabi niya, or else I'll have a problem on my hands. Sir naman. But you know, this is where I appreciated him. Because remember, you could use me as what? As only a task. But his members of cabinet were people to him.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a husband that doesn't want to come. And I was, ano siya? Klaro sa kanya, tao ka. And I guess that's what helped a lot.
You're part of my family.
Yeah,
The
it's not a
official
job.
family. Yeah.
The job is the easiest part.
Yeah.
So in a sense, yeah, I wish Mr. Duterte would. But I think he cannot do it. Because it requires a philosophy. It requires a very deep understanding of what you want out of life. And Mr.
Which is
Duterte
lacking.
doesn't have it. I'm sorry.
Can we go back to FVR?
Okay. Oo, napapa-Duterte na ako. Ayoko na talaga.
First impressions as
First?
against
Ano, mahal ko
Impressions of
siya.
the day.
Within 3 months. Today?
as against today. The total, well, you already said the preconceived were thrown out 3 months
Ay, naku,
into the job.
Into
ano?
the job.
Oo.
Yeah, ano.
But what is more, ano yung mas masidhi ngayon? Ano yung mas matindi ngayon? About
think
FVR?
when I saw that Mahathir got voted in again, I said, oh my God, my sir will read this.
As a sign of the times?
Oh! I think, I remember towards the end of his term, there were talks of extending the term.
Yes.
And at the time, the younger ones in the cabinet, I was still very much into barkada. Some wanted it, and me, personally, I said, the Constitution is clear with me.
Yeah.
In all graciousness, the sir has to let it go. And of course, Estrada came in, so all my kayabangan went out as well. But ang feeling ko, ano siya? Frustrated siya. Di ba?
That he had to transition to...
No,
That he-
frustrated siya na it had come around this way. Because, ano yan eh, nakita na niya eh.
all that groundwork, ano?
At saka nakita niya
Building.
what you can do.
Yeah. With,
Sakit yan.
with just 6 years.
Yeah, masakit yun. So makikita mo siyang... I felt bad about the Pinoy part, that one, yung relationship nila. They could have had him as the senior statesman. Kasi wala tayong role na yun eh.
Oh, you
Diba?
mean with Pinoy and
Ah.
FVR? Yeah.
Kasi wala naman siyang... Hindi na nga siya statesman, di pa siya senior.
Yeah.
So, he needed some legitimacy. So yun, this one, si Duterte, I thought they were gonna start off well.
Some cabinet members, your colleagues actually
May
wanted...
barkada.
Yeah, your barkada. Were actually wanted... Well, there were some moves, ano? People's Initiative, Pirma, to change the charter. But yeah, you're telling me it's something that you would not have supported.
Just for him? You want to change the constitution just for him?
Right.
Not that.
Yeah.
Mahal ko siya.
You've got to be...
You need to be a little more, I think he would have done it as well. The issues are so much bigger now than him. But that's what I was saying. We went through a period that was so tumultuous, and I'm so glad I was part of it. And I was so glad he was the timon.
Yeah. What it would have been had it been someone else, you know.
Had it been anyone that came after,
Yeah.
it would have been less compassionate. It would have been less managed
And very divisive.
and very divisive. He wasn't. He wasn't at all. Even with the left, he was not.
Yeah.
He embraced Joe Masison and all.
Yeah.
Remember what he did? But, ano siya eh? He bet.
Yeah.
Ano nga eh?
Yeah.
Studied siya, pero
Yeah.
nagre-risk yan.
Mm-mm.
Ayaw na.
Mm-mm.
Ngayon, galit na siya. Ayaw na niya. Si Duterte nga, wala pa. 3 buwan pa lang eh. Napitik yung ilong niya ni Joma. Ayaw na. They're really not very deep. Ito, very deep siya on the peace process. Alam niya, malalim yung kanyang pagtingin. So, miski pitikin.
Okay. Yeah.
Hindi yan.
Yeah.
Klaro sa kanyang pupuntahan niya.
Yeah. General Alcantara Cantoy earlier said that 2 out of 3 wasn't that bad actually. RAM, SFPYOU, the MNLF,
Yeah.
and then the CPP. No?
Yeah. Ang
2
hirap
out of
nun,
3 was not bad at all. Yeah.
Ang hirap nun. O, ngayon, tingnan mo. Yung akin, na ano siya sa ilong, ayaw na niya. Di okay na naman daw. Tapos gano'n na naman niya. But ang feeling ko, iba rin ang kanya. The military are very strong. I don't have enough data. I'm a data kid, yeah.
Okay.
But I think Duterte, sabi ko nga, I wonder how long he's going to be like that. It wasn't very long. Di ba? Naglagay siya ng cabinet. Nag-ano siya. Nagpa-release siya. Sabi ko, oh my God.
Sige. One final query from me. What would you view as FBR's legacy? Or is there several?
Several,
Are there
yeah.
several?
Several, yeah. In my arena. Ako yung migration, that to me was so clear. Pati yung mga institutions natin started to shift. Now, your budget will show wala nang debate. Diba? Yung ASEAN, I thought he wanted so much. Diba? Yung kanyang role in the and I thought Mahathir, siya na yan, nagtimon. Mahathir, siya. Siya lang nga hindi diktador nun eh.
Yeah.
Miski yung tay mo,
Yeah.
ano pa, general din eh.
Yes.
Di ba?
Yes. Yes.
So, ano siya, I thought that was it. The notion of the economic becoming equal to a social. For labor, it was really this notion. It was an era of labor agreements. Ano yan, ha? Yan yung mga go negosyo started way back sa kanya.
Right.
Labor agreements, Saudi Arabia, iba na talaga. Local employment.
Yeah.
First time yan. The Public Employment Office.
Right.
Napapasa namin sa Congress. And today, all of the city halls in the municipios are what? With local employment office.
Yes.
And network share. And then and job fairs.
Yes.
Di ba? Job
Yes.
fairs, no? You will attend, ganyan. Ngayon, everybody does it. It became part of the, yun ang pinaka, na-institutionalize niya yung mga changes.
Right.
Na miski wala na siya.
Andyan pa
Yun. Nag-evolve siya. At saka yung this notion of yung co-creation, yun yung engagement, yung meeting ka na meeting. So, meeting ka ng tripartite meeting. Remember?
Yes.
Nakakapagod yun.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's why I said the engagement became the end. Because you needed that relationship to produce something else.
Yes.
And I remember noon, people were saying, meeting na naman. I said, because you don't see what it's supposed to achieve. And so that one became very, very clear to me. The peace process, I think. But that's the same, di ba? Yung engagement, tsaka
pa
peace
rin.
process.
Yes.
Same principle yan eh.
Get people
Keep
to
everybody
talk.
to talk.
Yeah.
Sabi nga ni, what's his name? Blair? Blair yun, di ba?
Tony
Remember,
Blair.
Tony Blair?
Yeah.
Nagpi-peace process ako noon, di ba? Kay GMA. Sabi niya, the peace process is, peace negotiations is like a man riding the bike. You have to keep riding. You have to keep pumping. As soon as you stop, you fall off the bike.
Right.
So sabi niya, you don't know where you're heading, but just keep pumping. Sabi ko, okay yun na. Type ko yan.
And you'll eventually get to where you want to,
And I thought, the guy just set it up. And so after that, everybody up to now has a national tripartite. Bello calls for meetings, tripartite, ala.
Institutionalized na.
I think the one on women was pretty good. Yeah? Inano na yan eh. Claro, we didn't have the numbers yet because the effect comes in afterwards.
Yes.
But a lot of women in the workforce, my number one welder is a woman. Yeah. It's ano siya, defining yan eh.
Correct.
It becomes very visible to everybody.
Yeah.
What it really means when he started to support. Okay, PWDs, yeah. And the other one, child labor. Actually, yung child labor became an issue during my time. We were starting to work on it.
Sweatshops.
Sweatshops.
Yeah.
Sweatshops. A lot of it. Kaya yung kanyang, in the area of labor employment, kaya yung migrants, institutionalized na ngayon yung infrastructure for assisting and not only assisting but promoting our skilled workforce.
Yeah.
But also here, sa PESA, your TESDA, ayun ko, everybody, sa Marawi.
Both domestic and
Sa Marawi.
Yeah.
Ang first project nila, skills development. TESDA ang nandun agad. Sabi ko, sorry, but that's the way to go.
Yeah.
You cannot just give charity.
Correct.
You need to build. So, TESDA na naman. So, the skills, TESDA started with him eh.
Yeah.
And
That
the
law.
fund,
Yeah.
at saka pundado
And
hindi
the
yan
pondo.
yung
Yeah.
pass the law. No. That was almost 2/3 of the budget of the department after 1995. Can you imagine? Nag-flip na siya.
Yeah.
So, yun. I wish you were back. I think we need somebody like him again. But those are wishes.
Thank you very much.
Okay.